Happy Tuesday! Oh boy, this anime review is going to be an interesting one. I've never heard of this show before, but I thought it was pretty cool to watch. The show I am talking about is Go Go Loser Ranger. Honestly, as soon as this popped up on my watch list, I knew this was probably going to be an homage to Power Rangers, but I'll explain it later. I came across this anime through Paul Castro Jr. actually. A few months ago, I saw an announcement saying that he was going to be voicing one of the characters from the show. I'm gonna be honest, I was legitimately excited because I enjoy his voice acting. It's so amazing. And the animation does look pretty cool, so your girl watched it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people where I wait until all the episodes come out and then I start watching it. If I find an anime I like, and when I watch the first episode, I'm gonna have to wait another week for an episode to come out. I don't like that kind of anticipation, so I wait until all of the episodes come out and then watch them all. That way I don't have to wait, you know? I am probably going to give away a lot in here, and I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. So I recommend you watch the show and then come here. So in the show, for the past 13 years, the nefarious monster army has shown up in a flying fortress to conquer planet Earth. Luckily, the Dragon Keepers are here to save the day. Every Sunday, they host a battle showdown between them and the monster army. Crowds of people watch as the Dragon Keepers always manage to take down the monsters. Unbeknownst to the crowd, however, every fight has been a ruse. The Dragon Keepers and the monster army have made a truce ever since the Dragon Keepers defeated the monster army's final boss. They reap the fame and prestige while fighting imaginary enemies and surviving the weakest monsters, aka the Dusters. One of the Dusters, Fighter D, is sick and tired of living by the truce. They're sick of the Dragon Keepers, and he wants to prove to the monsters that we are badass and we can conquer this world. Fighter D decides to join the Rangers in order to steal the Dragon Keepers' weapons, which is the divine artifacts. It gives them their powers and the ability to transform. Teaming up with one of the Ranger members, Fighter D is determined to defeat the Dragon Keepers and save his species from the cruel hands of humanity. Honestly, the premise of this was quite interesting. And what's more fascinating is that we are rooting for a villain. Don't get me wrong, I love rooting for heroes, but in this case, it's quite a twist to root for the villains. And I'm glad that they did that actually, because it is a nice little twist, a nice refresher, you know? I liked it a lot. I think Yoestar Pictures did a pretty good job with this animation. I haven't seen their previous work, but I thought the action sequences were good, and I like the design of the Dragon Keepers transformations along with the Dusters. And you know what's funny? The reason why they're called dusters is because every time they get stabbed or sliced or they get hit with a divine artifact, they turn to dust. Also, like I said, I think this is probably an homage to Power Rangers because the way that the Dragon Keepers have their weapons and make the transformations is like an homage in a way. It's kind of similar, but I'm not sure. Again, I don't know. I also like the characters in here. I like the Rangers especially because they're wanting to be a Dragon Keeper. Each one has their own motivation. But even though it can sometimes make them one-dimensional, they do have a reason, you know? I have to give 4 major shout-outs to the dub cast because they did their parts so perfectly. First of all, Zeno Robinson does a great job voicing Fighter D. I love the passion and energy that he puts towards his characters. In particularly Fighter D. He is determined to rule the world, but also he gets flustered from the simplest of praises. I especially remember one episode where he teams up with Yumeko Suzukiri to take down the Dragon Keepers, and she praises Fighter D for mimicking people. I have to admit, the Duster's abilities are really cool. Not only are they immortal and have regenerative abilities, but they can also mimic people, basically shapeshift. Anyway, Suzukiri praises Fighter D on trying to mimic Sosue Akabane, aka the Red Dragon Keeper. She says, "Wow, that's really impressive." And Fighter D said, "Yeah, whatever, I'm trying to concentrate, so shut up." And then Suzukiri made a comment saying, "I'm getting bored, can you mimic into a chair?" And then she gets close to Fighter D's face, and Fighter D shouted, "Woman, you're driving me crazy!" So cute, honestly. Zeno Robinson has been in a lot of roles. Most notoriously, he voiced Hawks in My Hero Academia, but he also voiced Akira from Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, and I think he voices Vanitas in the case study of Vanitas, which I started but I didn't finish. But what's really cool is that he voices Hunter in The Owl House, one of my all-time favorite shows. I thought that was really interesting to know. And like I said, Zeno Robinson does a great job putting the passion and energy into his characters. The second shout out goes to Paul Castro Jr. I adore his voice acting, honestly. I love hearing him voice different types of characters. I like the dual voice acting he gives to the main character, Hibiki Sakurama. In one part, he's this friendly, naive pacifist who wants to make the world peaceful. He wants the Dragon Keepers and the fighters to fight side by side. I think it's an interesting concept, but also it's kind of hard to do that considering the Monster Army has been wanting revenge, especially from Fighter D. And then the second half, obviously Fighter D mimics Sakurama, but Paul Castro Jr. is trying to play off the role. I think he does a great job, honestly, the dual voicing of the one main character. As I mentioned before, he voiced Allegro in Vampire in the Garden and also the Dragon Beast in Belle. Was it a dragon? No, it was some sort of beast character, but I think it was spectacular the way he did it. But I seriously enjoy Paul Castro Jr.'s voice acting. I really hope in the future he can get bigger roles. I think he's got a big future ahead of him in voice acting. The third shout out goes to Heather Gonzalez, who voices Yumeko Suzukiri. Originally, I thought the character was a little bit suspicious. The character's design is that she has deadpan eyes, but the tone in her voice makes her sound supposedly trusting, but also she's a bit of a traitor. She was actually the one that wanted to team up with Fighter D in a quest to take down the Dragon Keepers. I like how she's a fighter, but she's also flirty. I think that's what makes it stand out to me. And the fourth shout out goes to Jonah Scott, who voices Sosue Akabane. Again, the Red Dragon Keeper. His deep voice stature works so perfectly with this role. The Red Dragon Keeper plays both sides here. He's both a hero for the crowd, but also the villain. Because in one episode, he basically fights one of the senior ranks for thinking that they're stronger than him. And just kept bashing him against the wall until there was like a bloody mess. I was legitimately scared. But Jonah Scott does so good with this role. He's been in a lot of things, most famously for voicing Legoshi in Beastars, but also he was in Demon Slayer, where he voices the Upper Moon Demon, the first one. Again, major shouts out to those. You also can hear like minor little cameos. Todd Hackerborn's in there, and I recently heard his voice in Orion High School Host Club, where he voiced one of the Hitachin twins, and Christina V is in here. She voices Fighter XX. I adore Christina V as well. She's one of my favorite voice actresses because she's been in a lot of things, most famously for Marionette / Ladybug in Miraculous Ladybug. And recently I heard her voice when she voiced Gremory in Akuma-kun, the 2023 version. I think the entire dub cast did such a great job. Like I said, I like this little homage to Power Rangers. I haven't seen it, but I have seen clips of it here and there, and I have to admit it's good. I think this anime is nice, and I enjoyed it, but the only thing I don't like is this god character, Lord Patrolla. Of course he was a part of Sakurama's story because he killed his parents. But mostly the premise is Fighter D infiltrating the Rangers and trying to steal the weapons. I didn't really want to see this godly creature, but I have to admit, he is a nice villain to have in here, and it is kind of cool, okay? I do like the design of this creature. Now, with all of that said, though, I don't want to be too mean about this rating. I like it a lot. I do. There are plenty of things I like about it. You know what? I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. I like it a lot. But like I said, I don't like this god character, you know? I'll give it a 7.5, maybe an 8 in my book. That's my honest opinion about this anime. I like it, and I really hope we get a second season because Fighter D actually kills one of the Rangers. So there's 5 Dragon Keepers and he's defeated one of them. So 4 to go. They better make a second season because there is still so much more to come. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little anime review for Go Go Loser Ranger. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!